Sometimes when we start winning, like I start trolling around, but then I try to keep composure, or else my coach will flame me.
Hey guys, Parks Owsley here with the Shotcaller, joined by Big down in the bot lane for Optic Gaming. How's it going? You've been up and down, in and out of LCS and Academy and such. You're back here. We're about halfway through. How's the season going for you?
I think we had our ups and downs last week, 2 weeks prior actually, that we had a really tragic start, but now we're picking it back up and it feels really great to be winning again.
Has something happened in practice, in scrims, that you feel like, you know, your team is clicked, or is it just kind of finally coming through on stage?
I think it's just finally coming through on stage after like trial and error on stage from last week. We learned from our mistakes, and now we're just applying what we learned.
And so does this seem like something kind of long term? I know this is just one game, so it's always hard to tell, especially in a best of one. But are you feeling confident as a team that that you have a winning strategy and a winning way forward?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident in like our mid and late game. We used to suffer on that. We were like really clueless, but now that we had these losses that were in the late game, I feel like we had more confidence off that.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. So we have seen a few teams actually in the NALCS that some of us were joking earlier, we're professional throwers. You know, we should switch to baseball or something, which is a little bit mean, I'm sorry. But you guys have had a lot of gold leads, and in some of these games, you haven't been able to close out. And so is that like a lack of team cohesion, a lack of understanding on how to close out? Is it because of roster swaps? What's going on like with the closing out there?
I think it's more like we never really got to late game a lot in scrims, so we didn't have the experience. But now after those 2 weeks of just losing based off late game, we started playing more safe and trying harder. And since we get to the late game now, I think we have more experience, so it's helpful for us now.
So just you have more experience to learn from. Do you get to the point in scrims very often to actually be able to practice this? Because from what I've heard from pros in the past, and even up till today or whatever, everyone in scrims plays a little more aggro, a little more crazy, and so champions like Xin Zhao do really well because they just fight all the time. But when you get on stage, people are a little bit more careful and calculated. And so I'm curious, do you even have much practice off stage, off the main stage in LCS to get into these late game situations? Or is this all coming from, the failures over the last couple of weeks?
I think it's a big mix of both. Like the failures really did help us to see what we did wrong. The reviews after we lose and like the insight we get from it really helps. And also, based off after those games, we really tried harder to just not go like ham in scrims. Try to play a bit safer. Don't think of it as a scrim. Think of it like, yeah, we need to practice our late game, guys. So let's try to get there.
Okay. And so I want to talk a little bit about your team then as a whole. You guys have had a few roster changes. You were experimenting with the funnel and trying some different people out with that. You have had both Alorum and Dokla starting in the top, and varying success with all of your different rosters and strategies. Do you feel like constantly swapping out, like you and C9 and some other maybe Echo Fox do, is that something that is really good in the long run? Like you just have better synergy with a lot of players. Is it maybe tough right now, but it'll be better later? Or are you just trying to figure things out? What's going on with all the roster changes?
I think right now we're just trying to figure out what's best for us, like what fits more with our team right now. And it really hurts our synergy in terms of swapping every now and then, since they don't really learn what we taught them. And then a week goes by and we replace them, and we have to teach them all over again of what we learned.
So do you feel like then having the ability now to do roster swaps, whether it's for long-term goals or not, is it then harder when we go to an international tournament and we're only allowed one sub? Do you think that we could actually utilize a full 10-man roster at some point in the game? When we look at traditional sports, Basketball has a bench full of players and they sub in constantly. Is that something that would work for a league, or do you think it's better to just have 5 or 6 people?
I think it's better to have 5 or 6 people. If you just swap like 10 players around, maybe one person talks less, and that's like a vital thing. So maybe you don't have like a clearer shot caller. Whereas if you just sub in one, you can make up the difference with like the rest of the 4, and you're like more comfortable since it's only like one different person. And it's really, when you sub out one person, it's usually for like an ideal playstyle.
So more like the SKT, like we have 2 junglers. What then do you think is maybe the best position to have a 6th man for then?
I think it varies from team to team. Some teams have like their shot caller and AD, mid, jungle, or support. So maybe I think top lane might be the easiest to swap out.
Okay. Well, we've seen you guys do that some. Well, cool. And then I want to talk about you. You have been here for a while, both on LCS teams like right now and on Challenger and Academy teams as well. What is it like, now that you are back and starting for an LCS team?
Well, I do feel like happy that I'm back on LCS team, and I want to prove myself so that I deserve to be here. But at the same time, just swapping back and forth, it really hurts confidence level, since maybe you don't think you're good enough and other people think you're good enough, but then you get the chance again, so it kind of brings it back up.
Well, I'm glad you got the chance again. You are, seemingly you're doing pretty well. Are you kind of confident in your own ability to keep growing here at the LCS level?
Oh, definitely. I think I've been learning a lot from like Tristan of what his previous teammates did better, and he's teaching me about it, so then I just get better.
Yeah, he seems to have a pretty good understanding of the game. I got to talk to him a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about, his communication with you guys and the rest of the team. So that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that it's reciprocated on your side as well. So good for him, good for you, good for Optic in general. Lastly, do you have any big hopes, thoughts, wishes for the split or throughout your personal career?
I hope we make it to playoffs. That's all.
Just playoffs right now, thinking simple.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's reachable right now, and I think I'm just gonna look towards that goal.
Awesome. Best of luck with that. And you do seem like you have a lot of fun out there. I know they did they showed us the comms last week, and Dokla was about to die, and you were like, just dodge it, just dodge it. You have a lot of fun out there on stage?
Sometimes when we start winning, like I start trolling around, but then I try to keep composure, or else my coach will flame me.
Yeah, well, that's probably good on him. But I'm glad that you're out there having fun. Looks like I would be having fun as well. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Before we go, let us play a game of rock, paper, scissors. I challenge you to a best of 1. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors. Dang it. You are ready. I was not. I was unprepared. Thank you so much for the interview. And thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. To find more, you can click some off to the side. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. We really appreciate that. And comment below. I love the feedback. Whether it's good or bad, I like to hear what you guys are thinking. Thank you so much for your part in that. We'll catch you next time.